Oh.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Sisters Talk Chisme. We actually had a name change, if you didn't realize from the beginning. We were Chismetalks, but name change. We just felt like Sisters Talk Chisme fit a little bit better with us and being sisters and things like that. So to get started with today's episode, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Daniela and I'm your host today.
I'm Michelle. And I'm Kelly.
So today's podcast is we're really winging it. I wanted to talk about K-pop. So today's really is just going to be about K-pop, Korean culture as well, and how it ties in a little bit with Mexican culture, Latino culture, at least that we realize, acknowledge, and stuff like that. Also, just talking about our experiences about things. So we're just going to jump around and like talk about things, but something that I did want to bring up that I wanted to kind of ask you guys, specifically probably Michelle, because I think Kelly has heard. I don't know if you, sorry if it's loud. I don't know if you guys have heard of that girl that's going viral right now in Japan and in Korea. She's the girl that goes like, sushi kudasai.
No.
No?
She went to Korea right
Yeah.
now. So she's like, saying, what was it?
Juseyo. She's like,
yeah.
물 주세요. She's like, 주세요.
No.
She's
no.
She's so popular right now.
Aww.
And Kelly can show you. But I will like post a picture about her so you guys know who I'm talking about. But she...
Oh, shoot.
Kimchi kudasai.
No, I have not. Really? Not. I've seen
Yeah,
it.
well, she's popping right now, and
Yeah.
she was popping in Japan, and that's when she went to do the whole like, whatever. What is it? I was thinking Juseo, but it's not. It's
Sushi.
what did I just say? Kudasai.
Kudasai,
It's
yeah.
like kudasai. Well, I found out what kudasai means. Kudasai is basically please. So like sushi, please, or like eat or food, please.
Wait, is kudasai
Japanese?
Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say I think I could.
Yeah.
The Korean is something
Well,
else.
she,
Okay.
originally, like I said, she was popping in Japan, and then she went to Korea, and everybody, and she's popping in Asia, basically Asian countries, and she went to Korea recently, and then everybody bombarded her like she was in a K-pop idol, saying like,
they like literally saw her, and then everyone was like,
yeah, they like
They
mobbed her.
really?
That girl,
Yeah.
she needs security now, but
oh wow.
and now she changed it to Juseo or like
because she's in
Kamsahamnida.
Korea. Yeah,
Like,
okay.
Yeah, because she's in Korea. But yeah, so she's popping now. So I just want to know if you guys have heard about her. But yeah, to take note on that, I was telling Kelly, like, I don't know if this is so. We love K-pop, so me and Kelly have actually been to Korea. Michelle has not, unfortunately, but we went on a study abroad, so we went to Korea. It was really fun. We loved it, so we want to talk about our experience. But essentially, with going and tied with that is that what I was trying to say is that I've been learning Korean little by little, and I know a little bit, but not as much. But I was telling Kelly that because I feel like one of us. So Kelly is actually really good at Chinese
Mandarin.
Mandarin. Kelly is really good in Mandarin. So I was thinking Kelly can be our Mandarin translator. I could be Korean translator, and then Michelle should learn Japanese.
I was learning Japanese. Yeah, for a little bit, but then it's like I stopped.
Yeah, and then I was telling Kelly right now, like, just like, and this is no offense to anything, but like, I think it's just like the story behind it or like what they perceived it to be. But whenever I speak Japanese, it sounds like weird, like the, or maybe it's the way you say it, like kudasai, or like what is it, like the arigato gozaimasu. Like that just sounds so weird to me. Like
I know, like your voice changes.
like with people, and then like another thing, we watch anime, and like people probably say like anime like is like furries or things like that. I'm like
they hate on anime.
And no, I mean, yes, there are that type of anime out there like people watch, and it's just interesting for sure. But I mean, I don't watch that anime. I watch romantic animes, like love stories, like cute love stories. Like, a good one is Fruits Basket.
Oh, yes.
Recommend.
So good.
It's so good. It's about zodiac signs.
Yep.
If
If you're into
you
that.
want to get into it, go watch that one. But yeah, like I said, that is something that we watch. So just like, anyway, the similarities between that, just anyway, but we've been to Korea. So a little bit about our experience. I know, Michelle, I'm sorry, you're a little out on it, but
I'll ask questions.
yeah. we loved it. We loved it. It was so fun.
great.
I did know the basics of Korean, like, so I can get around. But I will say, like, people always ask, like, the language barrier, especially in Korea. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. It was definitely hard. But como dice my mom, like, apanzazos or like amanos, like
Aseñas.
aseñas.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was doing. Like aseñas. I was telling the man. Like I remember.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like the guy. So we went to Olive Young.
Yeah.
If you don't know what Olive Young is, it's like a beauty store. We went in there and obviously Daniela paid separately and I paid with this guy. And he asked me, he was like, "Do you want a bag?" in Korean. And I'm like, and I remembered because we looked it up because we did research.
Yeah, we did.
And I was like, "Oh, Anyo." And then he was like, and then he pulled it out and he was like, "Bag?" And I'm like, "Oh, no. And then I pulled my bag out and I'm like, "I have one. I have a reusable." And he's like, "Oh!" And then continued in Korean like really fast. And I'm like, whoa.
Every time I went to Olive Young, and I went to Olive Young a lot because of their skincare and their makeup, they would just talk to me in Korean, and I'm like
not a lick of English.
I'm just like, oh yeah, 감사합니다. And that's it. Like, there was this one time we went to the market. What market?
The fish market?
No, the market, the international market.
Oh yeah,
I forget
like,
what it's called.
Yeah.
We went to that famous market in Korea, and I wanted these like little walnut. They were like desserts, and there was different flavors. And the guy asked me like, "Oh, how many do you want?" I'm like, "I'll take 2 of each." And he's like, "Okay." And then I go to the lady, and obviously I can tell by her face like she did not know English, and the guy was speaking to me in English. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy does, or this girl does not know English." And I'm like, I looked at her, and she's like waiting for me to tell her, and I'm like, Ego juiceo. And I was just like, like 2 of each. And then the guy just started laughing, and she started laughing, and I was just like,
But they like she understood. But
yeah, she understood.
Yeah, aseñas. Yeah, I was just be like pointing.
That's essentially.
Not gonna lie, I felt like my mom. You know how my mom feels?
Yeah. I felt like that
was
too. I'm like, oh my God, it made me think about like, I wonder how hard it was for them to come here and like not know any, like not even a lick of English, and have to go through that, like go grocery shopping, go on the transportation too, and filling up your card, because like we had to do that, all of that. The machines weren't in Korean. I mean, you could change it to English, but to even try to change it to English, like what do you know is English?
Yeah.
It was like a guessing game at that point. But again, like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. We had a scavenger hunt too.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
The professor really made us do a whole scavenger hunt around the whole entire Seoul by ourselves, by the way. He left, no hate on him. Love him. He left us alone a lot of the time. And I mean, that was the only way that we were going to learn and we were going to get around. Yeah. But you want to tell your story about the scavenger hunt?
Oh my gosh, that was so bad. So we were put in groups and Daniela and me were separate. So my group were like, okay, let's do this. We did the scavenger hunt. It was going great so far. We did the transportation. It was all nice and fine. And then we hit a mall. And this mall, if you're a K-pop fan, is a very popular mall where they have a lot of events there. If you know Stray Kids, they had a whole bunch of pop-up stores there. So we went there, and there was this little paper, and it said, "Find this store," and it was in Korean. And no hate on the professor, but his handwriting, I could not read it. We tried Google Translate.
Yeah,
we tried everything.
I tried to like translate it on Papiago.
And I tried typing
yeah,
it too.
I could not make out what it was
So
saying.
I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
By the way, me and Kelly were in separate groups. We were in separate groups. Kelly and me were not together. I was in another group with 2 other students. Kelly was with 2 other students, so we were separate.
So we were going and we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Because we're going to be left behind. So then I was like, oh my gosh. And then this one girl was like, ask somebody. And I'm like, and I see this woman. She looked like she was already like ready to leave. So I went over there. I'm like, 저기요, do you speak English? I didn't want to say it in Korean because I forgot my brain like farted. Yeah. And then she was like, oh yes, and I'm like, and then but like when I was like, do you speak English? That's when the girls were like, do you speak English? Like we knew, you know. And she was like, yeah, I do. And it's like, do you know where this is? And she was like, oh yeah, it's in the basement. Let's go. So we went to the basement. We were walking down. She obviously she was really nicely dressed and everything. And I was
Yeah,
like,
this
dang.
mall is also a very
Yeah.
luxurious mall, as we noticed by walking around and all the Korean people running.
She had like a Gucci bag, and then it was just really wow. So then we were going down the escalators, and I see Daniela struggling with her
Yeah,
group.
I'm struggling.
And I was like, and then one of the girls that was in her group, it's iffy. We don't know how we feel about her. So, literally, we were walking down the escalators, and then I look at Daniela, and I'm like, and I say this in Spanish, I'm like, pregúntale a alguien. Because obviously, like, ask somebody,
Yeah.
you know, because you know. And then
Yeah.
she was like, and
Yeah,
then,
and then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to ask somebody. So I turn around and I'm looking for the person, like, who am I gonna ask? Who am I gonna ask? And I see this girl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks like a nice person. And I'm like, I literally was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, oh, Chogyo. And then I showed her the paper, and I was like, and she was not responding. I'm like, 어디 주세요? And she's like, 네. And she's like telling me to come with her. I'm like, thank goodness. I was like, okay, let's go. And then the girl was like, oh my gosh, you're so smart, Daniela. Good job. And I'm like, girl.
but literally, when I was going down the escalators, that girl was like, don't talk to us. We're gonna do it on our own. And I'm like, if it wasn't for me,
Not gonna
you guys are probably
lie,
gonna-
I hate to be that person, but because of her, we lost. But whatever. Anyway, we did not win first place. Let's just say that because of her. Because she had. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Oh, the other girl's but her now.
I'm about her, but whatever.
that whole experience
Was just anyway. The end point was the Namsan Tower, which is where a lot of K-pop, K-dramas are filmed, and I'm also into K-dramas. Love K-dramas. I force them to watch them, but I feel like they don't love it as much as I do.
I'm more of like I watch C drama, so like
You're more of a kiss
fall in love.
it's an anime.
My attention span is like so short. I can't.
Yeah, and like me, honestly, I love watching K-dramas, and I think it also helps me with my Korean and understanding, because I can understand Korean a lot more than I can speak it. But yeah, like I can do the basics, like very basic. I know a lot more now than I did when I went to Korea, which is, at one point it will be useful again. Trust me.
Right.
But yeah, so I thought that was a pretty funny experience
Not
that
me
we
with
had.
Chinese Mandarin. I was like, when am I ever gonna use this?
Yeah.
And then in college,
Oh yeah, because Kelly was
I was a mentor
for
for 2 international Chinese students.
yes,
And
I made her do that.
yes, she made me do that, and thank you Danielle, for letting me
You're
do
welcome.
that. But
Connections.
Yeah.
I had these mentors, changing topics from that, but still in the
Yeah, same.
Okay, so I had these 2 mentors, and they were both really great. One of them was from like the city, and the other was from the countryside. And when they talked to me, like we were first meeting, I'm pretty sure they thought that I didn't speak like a lick of Mandarin, like I didn't understand them. So when we were starting to meet, I heard that they were talking about me, and I was like, I was like, dang, I still got it. It's been like 3 years since I used it, so I was like,
Yeah.
still got it. But then I was like, let me just get it out of the way. So I was like, oh yeah, fun fact about me, I do speak Mandarin. So if you don't understand or you don't really know how to say English, I got you. And then they're like, really? But they didn't want to believe me, right? So I was like, oh yeah, with oh, fuck that out.
Okay.
With hi. And she would like, they would be like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, and then I learned how to say this, blah blah blah, like ni hao, wo yao Kelly, and blah blah blah. Obviously,
Yeah,
my
I
accent's
mean,
not
by the
it,
way, we all took Chinese actually in high school. We decided to go take Chinese instead of Spanish. Like, we just figured it'd be more
but
fun. I don't know. It was great. I loved it.
I loved it.
I already like the Asian culture.
Yeah, that is very
already,
true.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Michelle was the first one to do it, obviously, since she's the oldest. So
Yeah.
we just followed in her steps, really, and we were like, oh yeah, I'll do it. How many years did you do?
I did only like 3.
Okay, I did
Yeah.
2 years of Chinese.
I did 4,
Yeah,
so
I'm the low of the low. I still know like
Somewhere,
我不知道, so I know.
yeah,
Which is I don't know. By the way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I know a little bit. Ni hao with the Dani Daniela.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I know, like I said, more Korean. 안녕하세요. 저는 다니시입니다.
안녕하세요, 저는 켈리입니다.
안녕하세요.
Onions for sale.
Onions for sale.
Imnida.
Inida.
Onions for sale.
I don't-
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, obviously I know a lot. But anyway, moving on, we're going to get started with the questions for today's episode, which again, we're talking a lot about Korean culture, K-pop. These are more basic K-pop. So to get to know us a little bit about K-pop. So I guess one first question that I have is, who is your guys' current alt groups? So if you aren't familiar with K-pop terms, I will break it down to you. Alt means ultimate groups. So very much a lot of slang in here that we use. So alts. And I will also talk about, well, you know what? We can talk about our experience going into K-pop. Like, what was it? When did we start? Like, what was our...
Right.
Just so they know, like, how, because I know a lot of people actually don't even
No.
well, don't even know, but they know now because I've been a little bit, and there's another question on that about that, but I guess another question that I could ask right now is like, are you openly a K-pop stan IRL?
Yes.
If you don't know what IRL is, Michelle,
Look it up.
Michelle and
I guessed it.
Michelle and me didn't know what
guessed it.
IRL was. Kelly over here was the only one that knew was IRL. Kelly kept using IRL, and I was like, what are you saying?
I'm like, IRL.
I'm like, she literally sent me a message. She's like, hey, come to the library so you can meet so-and-so IRL. And I'm like, IRL? And I was like, Kelly, what the freak is IRL? She's like, in real life. And I'm like, girl, where are you getting this?
So, fun fact about me, I like watching gamers. So I get all the slang from them. Sorry about that.
IRL.
Yes, IRL. So I watch a lot of gamers, and that's how I get most of the slang.
Mm.
We also watched an anime that was about gamers, and Daniela was like,
Oh, yeah.
"What is this?" She was like, "I don't remember what slang it was."
There's a lot of slang in gaming. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
So when we were watching it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so funny," and then Daniela was like, "What's that mean?" I'm like, "Don't you what?"
Oh, yeah, I did not know what it meant. I did
Yeah.
not know. But
I guess so.
yeah, anyway, so basically, like, are you openly a K-pop stan in real life? IRL. I guess we can start with Michelle because really Michelle is the one that started it all for all of us, and we can honestly this half of this episode today is going to be me talking about my experience because, by the way, I was the last one out of us three to get into K-pop.
Weirdly enough, huh?
I know.
Ironic.
And now I'm the one like K-pop. I'm like, y'all are people that know me that have me on social media. Y'all probably hate me from how much I post so much about it, but by the end of it, you guys will all be K-pop, specifically Stray Kids fans. Trust me. Okay, go ahead,
What was the question again?
girl.
Like basically, when did you start?
When did you start? How did it start for you for K-pop?
Well, the year I really don't remember exactly what year it was, but I want to say it was when we.
It was like 2015.
No, that's
No.
when I.
No.
That's when she graduated.
Yeah, that's when I graduated.
2018.
Yeah, 2018.
Was it 2018?
I think that's when we moved into this house. Remember?
It was definitely 2018 because we had gone to Mexico and I bought you a BTS pillow in
Yeah,
Mexico.
yeah.
And that was in 2018.
Ah, yeah.
So I know it was in 2018. Around there, right?
Around
was
that, because that's also the
2017.
same time I became very like fans of Stray Kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, because the first
Yeah.
group that I actually started falling for was obviously BTS, and yeah, like it started with them.
Yeah.
And I remember exactly what video too. It was Fake Love. It kept popping out on my YouTube, and it kept popping out, and I was like, I kept looking, I was like, I don't want to watch this. Like, I don't even know what this is. And then finally, I got sick and tired of it because it popped out like in a For You and everything. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna click on it and see what happens. Fell in love.
Fell in love.
Fell in love.
Right? It's just,
Fell
you
in
just go
love.
into a deep
Yeah.
hole.
Oh yeah, definitely. It starts out with the. I was like, what's their names? Like, let's just Google and see what their names. Yeah, falls into the rabbit hole.
Never comes back.
Yeah, no. Once you start looking for the names, it's all.
That is
It's
very
gone. You're
true.
gone.
You're a
You're
goner.
gone. You're gone. You're hooked.
Yeah, and like I said, Michelle was the first one. So then from her,
It was
you.
me. I was actually a little bit earlier than you. I started in middle school, but it wasn't BTS. I liked Day 6, which is a K-pop band, not even a group. So they don't dance, they do instruments. I liked them, and then I liked them all the way through high school, and then that's when you were talking about Stray Kids wanting Daniela to be in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, no, actually.
You were
Wait,
earlier.
No, I was earlier.
Yes.
Because remember, I liked the song Mr. Simple by Super Junior.
Yeah, Super Junior.
It was all long. I
That
didn't
was
even know
like-
what K-pop was at the time.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend that was a foreign exchange student.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, hey, can I listen to your music on? Because back then, you know, the MP3 players and all that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
iPods. And then I gave her my headphone piece and earbud. And then the song popped up, and then she's like, she got so excited. I'm like, kind of looking at her like, what's going on? She's like, you like K-pop? I'm like, what's K-pop?
Okay, who?
Like,
Okay.
I was like, what? And I'm
Okay,
like,
what?
no. And she's like, oh, okay. So I wasn't really big, but I did love that group because I remember
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at stuff for them. So and I remember I learned to dance too.
Yeah.
I completely learned to dance
Yeah.
out in the living room. I remember, and you would copy me.
I would.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a big dancer, but like this ties into how I got into K-pop. But I love like, and if you know me too, like you know that when TikTok was trending, I was trying to be an influencer. I don't know what I was trying to do. Honestly,
You were on something.
I was just trying to do the dances because I just really enjoyed it. I don't know if I really love dancing, and I'm not good at it at all by any means. I'm terrible. I suck. But I just love learning the dances and just doing it. It's just so fun to me. But yeah, sorry to interrupt, but that was.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm done. That was just that one song
And
that I
then
really liked.
you went on.
To day 6.
I think mine. I wouldn't say mine has like a deeper, but mine. I would just say that mine is a journey because it was more of like a sticking it in me, like you need to love K-pop. You need to love K-pop.
Yeah.
Oh, you should listen to this. I'm like, oh, you should listen to that. And me, I was always like, ew. I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people. I was like, ew. They wear makeup. Like, you really like them, Michelle? Like BTS? Like Michelle, girl. Or what? Anyway, and I was like, no, Michelle, you can't be liking them. In 2018 is when I was introduced into Stray Kids when they debuted. I knew of them. I knew who they were. I knew I wasn't going to listen to them. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not listening to no K-pop. Michelle Terca, she wanted me to listen to Stray Kids.
Oh
She's
my
like,
gosh,
they're
I
your
remember
age.
that.
She's like, listen to them. They just debuted. Ian has braces just like you because at the time I had braces. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, Michelle, leave it. Drop it. I'm not going to listen to them. So she dropped it for a little bit. And then I got my braces taken out. And then Michelle brings it back up. Oh my gosh, so funny coincidence. Ian got his braces taken out at the same time as you. I'm like, who the heck is Ian? I don't even know who that is. And I was like, no, like that's not happening. And so then years passed by because that was 2018. And then 2 years passed by when COVID hit actually. And this was really like a hard time for me and my mental health. And I'm sure you guys probably felt the same way with your K-pop.
Right. I think the whole world did.
Yeah.
But like me in 2000, what was it? 2000. Honestly, it was at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, because 2020 was when COVID hit. But that whole year, I was having a rough time because I was, and this isn't a whole lot of information, but at the time I was in college. I'm out of college now, but I was in college and I was an RA, which is a residential assistant. And that was very mentally draining for me. It was so bad. Like, I mean, they can testify, like, I would cry all the time.
Oh yeah.
It was so bad. Like, it was so bad to the point where, like, I just wanted to quit college. Like, I wanted to come back. Like, I kept saying, like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I need to come back. And COVID hit, right? It was in March. And they sent us all home after spring break. And I was like, okay, let's go back home. And I was home for a long time because we didn't go back until August. So I remember Michelle once again brought up Stray Kids because they had just debuted Backdoor, I think, in like, what was that, September, August, something like that?
Yeah.
Of 2019 or 2020? I can't
I think it
remember.
was 20. It was 20.
20. I think it was 20. Let me look up when Backdoor was.
Yes, because right before COVID was gonna hit is when they had. Remember, I wanted to go to the concert.
Yeah.
District 9.
Yes.
And
Yeah, it was in 2020, Backdoor. Yeah, that's later that year, Backdoor came out, right? But I actually started watching K-dramas during that year that we came back from COVID because I was having a hard time. And then I was actually first introduced, Stray Kids wasn't my first K-pop group that I liked. I actually liked Blackpink before when Michelle
I
liked
remember that.
BTS.
Mhm.
But it wasn't, I honestly didn't consider it K-pop for some reason. I was just like, there's just some girls, love them. And then I started watching this K-drama and I was introduced into Astro. So I don't know if you guys know who Astro is, but it's another K-pop group that has Chan Woo, my
Oh, yeah.
my
Chan
first
Woo.
love. Literally my first love.
Yeah, and you got into it because
Yeah.
we were watching a K-drama called True Beauty.
True Beauty. That's what
Really
we
highly
watched. Yeah. We watched True Beauty and I fell in love. I was like, oh my God, Astro. And I was all their music. That's when I really became a K-pop stan. And then later in 2020, in September or whatever, when Backdoor came out, Michelle brought Stray Kids up again. And we were in the car, we were driving back, and Michelle's like, oh my gosh, you're doing this contest for learning a dance for Backdoor. And she's like, you should do it. And I'm like, I guess I have nothing better to do. It's COVID times. I was already doing TikToks at the time. So I was like, what can this dance do? I can do it. I was already renegading. So I was like, yeah, let me do it. So I literally hours and I learned it. I was like, dun, 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 pew.
Yeah, Daniela was like, come on, join me. And I'm like,
yeah, it was so hard though.
It really
It was
is.
And I
hard.
did it. And then after that, obviously after repetitively hearing the Backdoor song, I'm like, it's a pretty good song. And I was like, it's actually a pretty
You
good
muted.
song. This is actually a pretty good song. I hope I didn't mute the whole time, but this is actually a pretty good song. So then I started looking, that's what Michelle said, I started going to that deep hole. I'm like, who are these Stray Kid boys? And I was like, you know what, let me look them up. And then Felix was the one that
I know.
reeled
Oh my gosh,
me
it
in.
was
Owen.
Felix.
I
No, no, no.
watched.
I told you, remember? I was
Yes,
like,
she did.
yeah.
She still tells me to this day, she still tells me to this day, Daniela, this is all because of me. I'm like, that's true. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't. So, sorry, no abuse here.
But it
But
was funny because when Michelle recommended to you,
Mhm.
I started listening to them because I was like, ooh.
yeah,
But then, they stopped making music for a while, and I think
Yeah.
that's when something happened,
everything.
so.
And then I could go on about this story, but basically, that's how it got me into TikTok. TikTok. Not TikTok. That's what got me into K-pop. I would say that I was in a bad mental health state, and I just discovered K-pop, and I just really love their music. And I know people will say what is it about K-pop that you like? There's just so much to say that I like. I love wasting the money on it. I love seeing those boys, and when I saw them for the first time, my first thought was oh my God, they're real. I was like, oh my God, they're
Dude, when I
real.
was recording, I was shaking.
Yes.
Like, oh, I gotta calm down.
I
Like,
was
no.
shaking, and then all of a sudden, it was.
Oh wait. Let's go back on topic because this has another
Right,
question to
my
it.
bad.
But
Oh yeah.
what the real question is, going back, are you openly a K-pop stan IRL in real life, right? So to answer that question, at the beginning I wasn't, because if you know the timeline, in 2020 is when I started being a K-pop stan. We're in 2024, and a lot of you guys know I have recently actually started posting about K-pop. So I say I'm openly a K-pop stan now. Back then I wasn't, and it took me a while to, I guess, open up to it because of the backlash, the hate towards K-pop.
Mhm.
And now K-pop is starting to become a lot more popular, a lot more famous. People are loving K-pop. People are loving Korean culture. They're loving Korean food. They're loving everything. And I love that for Korean culture. I love that. I love that they're acknowledging that. But at the time, back then, when we actually really liked it, it was really hard for us to come out and say, I loved K-pop. I loved Korean food, which was something that a lot of people
Because
were like,
they put you in this category where you're just this loser that
yeah.
watches anime, just likes
Yeah.
the Asian culture. You're
Or
weird.
like for me, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer
Yeah.
this one. That at first I was completely open. That I mean, everyone who knew me
Mhm.
obviously knew that I liked BTS.
Right.
And the thing is that at the time BTS was just now getting popular.
Mhm.
So they started getting popular and popular and popular. Because I got made fun of for liking BTS, I kind of did not post of any other K-pop group. I still to this day, we're kind of I don't post much about it. And now I gatekeep a lot. I want to, but I'm afraid that she's gonna end up falling in love with that group and saying the same thing. I'm like, no.
And that's another issue is gatekeeping, and I know we talk about it. Not a bad issue.
Well, yeah.
And I'm one of those people. I tried to gatekeep for years. I tried. Stray Kids is obviously very big, and it's hard to gatekeep now.
Yeah.
It's really a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to K-pop, at least for us that I kind of noticed, kind of like gatekeeping, where certain restaurants are Korean restaurants, just
Yeah.
because these are authentic Korean restaurants, and there is sometimes some disrespect that you can do to Korean if you don't know the Korean culture, to authentic Korean, and I don't want that to be something that ruins the place that I like going to, you know?
Right.
Because I know that not all people are the same. Like, you don't know los costumbres de otra cultura. Like,
Right.
it's something that you need to acknowledge. Like, when we went to Korea, there were so many rules that we needed to follow, so many things that we needed to do. If not, we were shunned upon. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's also very common in Korea for people to go at you. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I had this man almost, let's just say that we're glad that nothing happened, but
Yeah.
it was made a scene on the train, on the subway with me. But luckily, Korea is being more open to kind of defending. But again, understanding that it's not your culture, it's not your, it's not what you think it is, and you can't like be entitled to do something. And so like gatekeeping has a lot to do with that, and just like gatekeeping our favorite groups, just because I don't want you to hate on them, just like you did my first time, and then say things, and then there you are.
But then I would also say that gatekeeping is kind of hard too, because then you notice that other people start posting about them, and then when you start posting about them,
Then they
start
say you
thinking,
copy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or like,
definitely.
oh wow, now you like them. I'm like,
Yeah.
babe, you didn't realize then that I liked them before. I just never posted about it. I just never said anything about it.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
why?
because-
Because of gatekeeping. Because of this. Because of like the hate.
Because of the hate.
And same goes with like places, and also there was something else I was gonna say.
Making the
I mean, I used to work at a primarily white facility, and when I went to Korea during that time, I came back and showed him all these pictures, and I showed him a picture of crabs. I think it was. I forget what it was. Was it crabs? That I showed him?
I'm pretty sure, wasn't it the crab that I had that I was eating?
I don't know if it was the crab. I think it was something else actually. It was something seafood related. But I showed them a dish, right? A Korean dish, and they were like, "Oh," and I'm like, "And what's in there?" And I'm like, "Honestly, I don't know. I didn't question it." And they were like, "Shouldn't you question it?" I'm like, "Why? It's their culture, is what they eat. Obviously, I don't expect to question everything that a Mexican eats or American eats. Do I question the sandwich I eat at McDonald's? No. I mean,
No.
I should, but I don't.
Right.
I eat it. Same thing in Korea. Like, I just ate it. Like, what
I
does
mean,
it
sure.
say?
Obviously, you gotta be a little smart about it. Like,
I
make
knew
sure,
what
you
it
know.
was in it, but I knew if I said something, they were gonna feel disgusted by it. So that's why I didn't say
Right.
anything.
Mhm.
But things like that, like obviously knowing that dishes in other places are like, even Mexican dishes. I remember one time I had a friend and I was telling her about ceviche. And if you don't know what ceviche is, it's basically either fish or tilapia cooked in lemon. Technically, it's raw, but it's cooked in lemon because of the acid.
Right.
Well, some people don't understand that. And so when I explained it, she kind of got a little grossed out that it was raw fish. And I'm like, it's not raw. Like, it's cooked in the lemon. And at that point, I was like, I don't even know why I'm talking about it. I don't even know why I'm discussing it with you. Like, why did you ask if you were just going to be disgusted by it?
Yeah, and that goes to that whole situation when we went to Korea
Mm-hmm.
and we were eating raw marinated crab. They asked, like this girl asked, she was like, "Oh, what is it?" I'm like, "Oh, it's like raw crab that's marinated and it's cooked with this marinade." And then she was like, "Ew." And then this one girl was like, "It's not raw, it's cooked." And I'm like, "Technically," and she's like, "No," she said, "It's not cooked, it's raw, like it's straight raw." I'm like, "No, you have to learn, like it's cooked with like the acid."
Right.
And
I mean,
yeah.
not gonna lie, this is chemistry. Like
Yeah.
chemistry. Learn in school.
Yeah.
You do learn
Sometimes
stuff like
people
this
need
in
to
school.
understand that there are dishes that aren't necessarily cooked, like
Right.
you would cook on a stove,
With
but
heat.
it's cooked in acid because of the lemon,
Yeah.
or because of the
Marinade.
marinade that you're using, things like that. And like, just the fact that people don't understand that sometimes makes us want to gatekeep things and be like, you don't deserve to find out where this is from. You don't deserve to know what this is if you're going to criticize and talk about it and just hate on it. At that point, mejor ni te digo, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just like, anyway, that goes to that. But
The dark side.
the dark
of
side of
liking,
K-pop,
yeah.
and really like the whole, IRL. So now we are a little bit more open to it. I post about it all the time. I don't care. I'm not
Well, because-
I'm
afraid.
still
Yeah.
gatekeeping a little bit.
Me,
but-
I gatekeep a lot of stuff, but I do post every once in a while. Like, I still post like here and there, but I do still gatekeep a little bit. But again, we are who we are. The next question is, have you been to a concert? And actually, our first ever concert, like first ever concert, was actually a K-pop concert. And honestly, Well, my first actually, Michelle
Yeah,
has
Michelle
had a
has.
concert.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
had a concert once.
Mm-hmm.
Already, yeah.
Me and Kelly, this was our first
Yeah.
concert ever, and it was Stray Kids. We saw Stray
Oh
Kids
my gosh.
live.
This was my second concert.
Mhm. I just want to say that experience was
It was so
incredible.
great.
It was. I don't
It
think
was
I could ever
embarrassing.
go.
We shall not talk about that.
Girl, I don't think I could ever go to another. I don't think I could ever go to a like a regular concert anymore because K-pop concerts are on another level. Like
Oh, definitely.
the hype, the outfits, the whole thing that goes into it, like freebies. If you don't know what that is, it's before the concerts. You get a lot of freebies, the merch,
Oh, yeah.
getting to know other stays or other fans from that fandom.
No, dude, not only that, but the times you actually get
Oh my
to
God.
the concert.
You know-
Oh my gosh.
When I heard about other people going to the concerts a lot,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I'm like, we could never in a
Yeah.
K-pop concert.
Yeah, people like talk about going to concerts, like other concerts, like what, 2 hours or even right on the dot.
Yeah.
Could never
Yeah.
be us. You know what time we got there to where we were going for
The
our concert?
was at
7.
7.
It started at 7 p.m.
PM.
Yeah.
We got there at 6 a.m.
6
6
a.m.
6 a.m.
Yep.
to wait in a line for merch because estas querían light sticks and I already had one.
Was it worth it? Yeah, I made like 5 friends.
Yeah, also we got a lot of freebies, so I guess.
True.
Also, we got the cup sleeve event. If you don't know what that is, it's just like they have cup sleeves for your coffee cups and things like that. You got a lot of freebies. Honestly, I wouldn't change it. Obviously, it was great. We had a break. We ended up getting ready in the car. We had a whole experience. If you want to,
Not gonna lie. Oh yeah, like if this is gonna be a whole different.
Yeah,
we can go on
about
we
this,
need to
but
make a
if-
whole different topic
about
like,
concerts, really, because we've been to quite a few as well. So Stray Kids isn't our first one for K-pop. We also went to Lollapalooza last year when New Jeans came and the Rose. So we saw New Jeans and the Rose, and we could talk about that maybe in a different podcast.
Oh yeah,
if that's what
yeah.
you
that
wanna
is an
talk about.
experience to
That was
talk
a-
about.
But that whole experience was intense. It was insane. I
I'm
told myself I was
traumatized.
never going again.
Same.
And then, if you know, they dropped the lineup. Just know that you will see me there in August. Anyway, so like I said, it was intense. It was crazy. New Jeans was amazing, though. I loved. It was such a vibe.
It really was.
Oh my God.
The Rose
Yeah.
after the aftermath was a vibe.
Ah, yeah.
It was great.
That was my fault. Not gonna lie,
It was
but
all Michelle's
You,
fault.
yeah, I'm sorry.
did I get good videos? Heck yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, I guess I answered another question. I said, "What made you a stan?" There you go. Do you know any K-pop dances? We do. Me and Kelly actually know a
Yeah,
lot.
we do.
I did know the what's it called? Bouncy.
Oh
by-
yeah, Michelle did that one really good.
Yeah.
Bouncy by
I don't know
ATEEZ.
why I like it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, and
IT.
also, if you guys don't know, ATEEZ and La Seraphim is actually going to be performing at Coachella. And by the time this video goes up, it's would have been the weekend right after Coachella. So,
Yeah.
cannot wait to see all those videos of my boy San. But love on ATEEZ. I can't not wait until what they have to offer for Coachella.
Mhm.
So there's that. Oh, another thing about K-pop is actually, and I know we've kind of done things separately. I'm not gonna lie, I'm always the one that to do anything and anything related to K-pop. So as you may have heard, like me and Kelly went to Korea together. Michelle didn't. Well, me and Michelle actually went to KCON in LA last year, and Kelly
Yeah.
didn't. So it just things happen in our lives that sometimes one of us can't go for some odd reason. I'm always able to go. But we can talk about our KCON experience. At KCON. I said KCON, right?
Yeah, kick on. Yeah.
Our experience at KCON. KCON was intense. It was honestly amazing.
It was.
I will say that at the time, I didn't know a whole lot of artists that were performing that day because I was mainly going for Stray Kids. Anything I do related to K-pop is probably for Stray Kids. Not gonna lie.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, but the year they decided to go, I know all of them.
For real.
I know all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, and the lineup was great. I knew quite a few in the lineup, but there were a few that I didn't. Now I know them and I'm fans of after KCON. I'm not gonna lie. KCON was an all-day event. I will say something about our experience. Our experience with KCON in general was like a hit or miss. There were some ups and downs for sure, but
Right.
a big thing is that there was a huge hurricane happening in LA at the time.
Don't forget the earthquake.
Oh my god.
That
Like-
happened.
God forbid that would happen on the week that we go to KCON. Out of all weeks, But you know what? Nothing standing in between me and seeing Stray Kids that day. So
Yep.
No,
and the earthquake happened while we were at KCON, remember?
we were making bows for our light sticks.
Yeah.
And a girl freaked out and she almost went under the
from
table.
Seattle, and she was like about to dive down under the table. I just froze. I was like,
And the guy next to us, who was an LA native, was like, "Oh, honey, babe, don't do that. Get back up here." He's like, "We're good."
For real.
He's like, "Oh, I feel it. Oh, it's good. We're good." And I'm like,
I
I'm like, I
trust
trust
my life.
you and no one else.
You trust the natives.
For real.
Hey, they know what's up.
No. And it's funny because we asked the natives from there. They're like, "Wait, what do you do during an earthquake?"
Right.
Because they taught us in school to jump
Right.
and cover.
And they're like, "No, don't do that." And I'm like,
No, they said run outside.
I'm like, "Oh,
Well, yeah,
Because
because
the first thing they told us not to do. Don't run outside.
but it makes sense because if it's like an earthquake, the building's gonna fall.
yeah, but like, why would they teach us that then? We don't even
You
have
know, even
earthquakes,
in
so.
Japan when that earthquake happened, remember?
True, but that was
They all went
intense.
outside.
That was
I
bad.
guess you're right.
Anyway, but we say natives, but Michelle's actually a native.
I was born there. I wasn't raised there.
Fun fact: Michelle was actually born in California. Hey, she's a Cali girl, not us.
Yeah, we're the corn girls.
We're corn girls. No, but Michelle's very lucky. We actually stayed with family. We have quite a few family in LA. Fun fact: my parents actually met in LA. And it's not like too much info, but this is a little off topic, but also kind of on topic with LA and like KCON and how we were able to go. We stayed with family. But our parents actually met in LA. They were raised there for they stayed there for a good couple of years. So
for like their young adulthood.
yeah,
actually.
they
were there.
obviously, migrated there very young and had Michelle, and then ended up moving to over here, which don't ask us how. We don't know. But yeah, so we can talk more about that too if you guys have any questions about LA, because I think another thing about LA is and we didn't grow up in LA. Michelle was born there, but we didn't grow up in LA.
Yep.
We're very familiar though. We've been to LA quite a few times because we have family. My parents were basically raised there half of their lives.
And it's not LA like the outskirts. It's like literally like in the
It's like
center of LA.
technically LA.
Like they're literally like what, like 10, 15 minutes from
from downtown. And I
We
think
went there
people,
but like 3 hours with traffic.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
the traffic in LA is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You
And
think
I-
Indiana traffic?
Yeah,
No,
no.
no.
And I think people, every time that I say that I have family in LA, they really think like, oh, but not really LA, right? I'm like, no, like
No,
actually,
LA.
but
Yeah.
and I think, and like maybe it's just me because I've been there so many times, but like I feel like people alaban mucho a LA, and I'm not saying that LA is not a bad. I think LA is great. I love it,
Right.
but also LA isn't all that. Like LA is
Right.
just like Chicago, just like New York, just like
It has
probably.
good sides and bad sides.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And that could be another topic that we can talk about because,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
said, we've been to LA quite a few times, quite a few for sure.
Right.
But yeah, we went to KCON and it was a blast. We loved it. We had a lot of good interactions with K-pop
Big time.
idols. Like I had one say hi to me. I'm pretty sure.
I had a couple of them say hi to me too.
I'm pretty sure what's his name? Ricky. I'm pretty sure Ricky
Ricky
saw me
from ZB1.
I'm pretty
They
sure.
went to see you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Ricky saw me eating my free fries, just looking at him like, who is that?
I was getting hangry and I was like, hey, free fries, now let's get in line.
Yeah, and they were up in the window where
Yeah.
like the convention center, and they were just looking down, and everybody was freaking out. We're like, who is this? Who is
Yeah.
this? And we got to check out, and I'm like, I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna record them because they might be famous.
No, and the thing is, when she was recording the guy who was all the way over there, and then they were like literally right in
I
front
didn't
of
see
us.
them because it was a little more tinted, but
No, Danielle didn't see. I'm like, Danielle, look. And I'm like pointing to the dude, and he's pointing back at me. I'm like, Danielle, you're not recording.
I didn't know. I was just
We're
recording the other guy.
having like a pointing session here. Like, it's like,
Probably making fun of you.
no, he really was. He was. I don't know who it was, but he was.
I don't know either.
He was young though.
I like I said at the time I didn't really know them, so I didn't know how to. Now I know, but it was
Yeah.
pointless now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Daniela, she sent me a video and she's like, you know who these guys are? I'm like, Zero Base One. And then she was like, who's Zero Base One? I'm like,
For real?
what do you mean you don't know? But again, they are younger than you
Yeah,
guys.
they
Ricky's
are.
like 18.
I mean, we each love a different generation of K-pop because if you don't know, there are different generations. Michelle likes more second,
Second
Third?
generation.
Second, third.
second and third.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I like
second,
fourth
third.
generation. Stray Kids is fourth generation.
Oh, then it would be third because BTS would be third.
Third,
No,
because there's second is
Super
like
Junior, I think, is
JYP is like first generation.
JYP.
JYP is like first generation, and then like what? Girls' generation, second generation.
Yeah, because
No.
Girls'
Oh,
Generation
generation,
would
that
be that, and then also Super Junior.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, the other group.
Yeah, so I like fourth generation. Michelle likes more like third generation, and Kelly likes fourth and fifth
Like the
generation.
new
the
coming
newer,
bit.
like New Jeans.
Right.
Yeah,
I like
the
them
new
too and
ones.
all that, but I just
I love them too. I'm not into them as much as I am with like fourth generation. So like
Right.
like my I could we could talk about our alt groups or our the ones that we stand our favorite groups. We can say that.
Right.
I could start out first, I guess. My favorite groups are Stray Kids, number one, forever, always in my heart. Stray Kids, ATs, and a hyphen. ITZY. I guess that's pretty much. Oh, Blackpink too, but that's more second generation. But I love Blackpink. I love other ones, but those I would say are my top for sure because I like G Idol, but not as much. I like I love New Jeans. New Jeans all the way. They're probably on top too. I guess that's pretty much all I can name. Oh, the Rose, love the Rose too.
The
But
Rose.
yeah, like it's also
Had
what
interaction.
people don't understand too is like there's a difference between K-pop and K-band groups.
Mhm.
So K-pop groups are like they do dance and sing together, and if you don't know, that's really hard. So that's like Stray Kids, BTS, all of them, and then we have K-pop bands. So we have a couple, which is like
The
Extraordinary
Rose, Extraordinary
Heroes,
Heroes,
Day
Day
Six.
6, 2 p.m.
Yeah,
So.
quite a few. But yeah, there's a difference. So we, the Rose is another one. I guess you guys can say yours, and that's pretty much most of it. But
Me? Okay. So Extraordinary Heroes all the way. I love them.
yeah, yeah.
I love them. This little sticker, if you guys
Promoting.
promoting. I don't know if you can see it. Hold up. You see it? Yeah, promoting. I made that sticker. I love them so much. Anyways,
Mhm.
they're number one. Number two is Stray Kids, and then I also like New Jeans is up there, and who else? TXT. I love TXT, but I'm not like up to date with them like the other groups.
Mhm.
What other groups? Oh, Day 6 all the way. I'm more of a K band kind of person. So.
Yeah, Kelly likes more, and we each like different genre of like, because every K-pop group, believe it or not, has a different genre of what kind of music they produce. So
Yeah.
Kelly's is more like rock band type vibes. I'm, believe it or not, more like rock, rock vocal. So like no, not rock. Sorry, not rock. I'm over here copying you. Rap vocal, a lot of rap. So if you don't know, Stray Kids does a lot of rap. They're like anyway. Anyway,
I feel like I'm both. Like I'm
yeah.
a mixture of both. I'm a mixture of everything. Like,
Michelle's a mixture of
Oh, yeah,
everything.
but-
Michelle can listen to anything and anything, literally.
anything. Yeah, literally anything. Like you name it, I'll
Yeah,
listen.
and obviously we don't just listen to K-pop. By the way, this is just a
Right.
whole really video about our K-pop experience.
Let me just recommend Big Bang for You. That's a good song. Let me tell you.
Boom
It's
shakalaka,
Boom Chuck. Fantastic. Baby, or-
fantastic baby. I think that's what it's called.
Um,
Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka,
Yeah.
boom shakalaka. Fantastic.
Wow.
Oh, fantastic baby.
baby.
Yes, Stray Kids did cover that. But anyway,
Mhm.
yeah. So here and there's some good ones, but what else? What do you have any?
I mean, mine's just in between like Stray Kids and BTS.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick like number one, it would be Stray Kids.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Oh, and the Rose. I really
Oh,
do
the
like
Rose
the
is
Rose.
nice.
Michelle did like the Rose before I did, and then I
Yeah.
found out
Well, we
about
liked
them.
them at the same time.
Yeah, at the
Remember,
same time,
there was a
yeah.
concert going on, and then their light stick came out. And we were like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
so
but
Their
then
light
remember
stick is
because we
so
saw them
nice.
at Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
That's what, and we saw the prices for the concert.
Yes,
Yeah.
super expensive. Lollapalooza tickets were worth it. I'm not gonna
It
lie.
really was.
They were
Especially
so
where
cheap.
we got.
Yeah,
We
well,
literally got barricade.
Yeah.
but that paid a price. There was a price to pay for
Again,
that.
story for another time.
But yeah, so definitely Lollapalooza is definitely something that I recommend for people if they want to do. They have a lot of artists that they want to go see because it is a cheaper price.
But
It is also prices to pay because it is an all-day event. It's a festival. There's a sun. It's during the summer, August, heat, dehydration, people fainting,
people being rude.
people almost dying.
being mean.
People shoving. Kelly almost getting dragged into that mosh pit. Almost
Oh my
lost her.
I swear.
I saw
looked
like
for
a whole
her.
bunch of famous people.
Yeah,
For real,
it's
you
definitely
really
like I
did.
said for
You
another
actually-
tale, but a little bit about it.
Oh yeah.
What other questions did I have? 2 more questions, and then we'll
But
kind
it's
of.
dying.
Okay, 2 more questions, and then we'll kind of sum up the video because we talked a
If
lot.
it doesn't die on us.
If it doesn't die on us.
Yeah, please.
So one question is, do you collect albums or photo cards?
Yes, but I am not a die-hard collector. I do it when I have like the money ish.
I want to say I recently started to. Worst mistake ever because it takes a lot on your money wallet, I will say. I don't collect them intensely, but I do collect photo cards and albums when I can. I get them. When I went to Korea, I brought a ton back because they were
Oh my
on,
gosh.
not on sale. They were super cheap. They were like $18. And if you know, those things are like 25 here. And like
yeah.
$18, $12 for
Sometimes
some.
30.
Yeah, but in Korea, there was like $12, $13. Oh my God, they were steals. So I got all of this Stray Kids collection because why not? But yeah, I do kind of collect them.
I'm not like them. I do collect them. I knew a little bit more about PCs and like PC's photo card. And I did collect them as extraordinary heroes, as you can tell. So the albums, I just need 7 more to finish the collection because the new album came out, and I'm missing 3 of them, and then I missed 4 from the other ones. And then their photo card, I am almost done with all of the photo cards that are available, except for like the exclusions and stuff like that. Just the ones that basically come in the album.
Right.
Um, I need like 54 more to complete. And keep in mind, there's like 200 photo cards.
That's why I don't
and
collect them
no.
like that.
And mind you, Kelly's the one that actually goes out and buys them.
That is
like
true.
from people.
From like shops on Instagram. Like
Yeah.
she's like, did something come in the mail for me today? It's my photo card. And I'm like,
It's risky. Very risky.
yeah, because they can scam you.
Oh yeah, I've seen it on TikTok multiple times.
Yeah.
Yes, but I find reliable sources. I do my research. I make sure they actually follow me. So
Also another thing, and like I know we're running late on video time, but something that people don't understand is that actually it's a lot easier now to collect albums than it was before when
Oh yeah.
when Michelle first started. But when I first started as well, to get my hands on a Stray Kids album, I had to go through like a bunch of loops for sure.
Oh yeah.
I had to sign up for a Go. If you're not familiar, they're Goes. So like people make these like orders. They order it to a Korean address to be cheaper and then come here because they actually were not available in the US. Like they would only be available in Korea and we would have to buy them from a Korean website and have them shipped. And shipping is expensive if you order
Oh, yeah.
anything
Oh my
from
gosh,
Korea.
yeah.
And so I had to go through a lot of hoops to get albums and like things like that. And now recently they started having those at Target.
Thank you, Target.
Yeah.
And they started having them at Target, and so it's a lot easier now to get albums. But back then, it was so hard.
Like the Stray Kids, when I started liking them, I found one album in FYE, but it was like $45.
Yeah, they
And I'm like,
But they
no.
still are that price.
They still are
I mean,
FYE,
true, yeah.
and even in
Other stores.
Target's probably your best bet. But yeah, it was so hard back then. So now to be even be able to buy albums now is
You can get them at Walmart.
luxury
For real.
for
Yeah.
sure.
They're
But
more open now.
more open,
Yeah.
like I said, obviously more open.
Right.
But last question, just to end it. I wanted to talk about our MBTIs. So I know Michelle doesn't really know hers, but me and Kelly do, and it's something that Korean culture and really Koreans really rely their personality on. And when we get to Korea, that was a big question. They will ask you that, so make sure you take that test before you go.
Yeah.
They
You can go
will judge
first,
you too,
actually.
though.
Yeah, they
Okay.
will.
Yeah, they will.
Just based off of your MBTI.
Oh, yeah.
So mine is ENFP. So basically, I am 71% extrovert. But it has changed. It's been like a year, which means I'm very outgoing. I'm really out there. I'm good at making friends. I am very artistic and stuff. So it actually really aligns with me. So I think it's good.
Yeah, mine is ISFJ, which is basically introvert and basically a helping hand for sure. And like, take with that what you will. Look it up if you want. But that's our MBTI. Michelle doesn't know hers, but she will.
I know it has
eventually.
an IN. in it. 'Cause
And
I am
they
an
base that a
introvert.
lot on your personality, by the way. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like, that's what they're gonna ask you if you start like.
There's like little machines, like in
Yes,
Hongdae.
and,
There's like little
machines where you get, and it's a fortune based off of your MBTI. But yeah. Anyway, that was to sum up. We had a lot to talk about. This podcast went a while, which is really great. We tried to cut it short a little bit though, but it was nice to have this conversation. So we're gonna post our socials at the bottom. This also is gonna be available on Spotify for you guys to listen to. But yes, please get a follow on our Instagram because that's where we'll be posting if you guys have any questions where you can ask us on our next podcast what you guys want us to talk about. It's not always going to be about K-pop, trust me, but if you want it to be, we can. We can talk on and on about K-pop, but
Oh, yeah.
definitely other things for sure, like Latino experiences, our experiences about concerts, things like that, travel. We want to do another one on travel because
Oh, yeah.
we travel a lot.
We can
Anything,
give you tips and tricks.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Anything like that. But yeah, so this was our second podcast actually. So I'll let Kelly take it away.
Okay, so once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on Spotify if you want to listen. So thank you for coming and joining us with Sisters.
Talk.
Chisme.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, end it.